All right guys, welcome back to another video. I'm here picking up my first order from New Dumpling House. It's actually right here behind me. So I'm gonna take you along with me. We're gonna see how much I made. Dinner rush hour, it's going absolutely crazy. Let's go into this first order. Welcome to the channel. My name is Matt. I'm a part of the Your Driver Mike team. That is my twin brother. Go check out his channel of over now 50,000 team members just like you. And my channel, Your Driver Team Matt, I pass on the tips and tricks to help you make the most money and maximize your time on the road. So today we're driving food delivery. I am driving multi-apping, which is driving all three apps, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash at the same time. And it is dinner rush. It's around 6 p.m. It is a Tuesday. So how busy is it? How much money are we gonna make? And what are some of the strategies that really will help you maximize your time on the road? Well, this first order in the Squirrel Hill area, I took it because my ending location was absolutely ideal. I'm ending in an area that has a lot of restaurants, so it was a really smart order to take. And if you notice, the mileage is pretty low. It's a really good ratio, low mileage, fairly high payout. Let's go ahead and pick this one up and I'll give you more tips on exactly why I choose the next orders. So I just picked up a really good order from Dunkin' Donuts. Now I am driving all three apps. I am driving DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. Now that's the real secret. And we've done this thousands of food deliveries. When you have choices and it's dinner rush, things are absolutely crazy right now in the city. I'll show you a picture of the map. There's a lot of demand. You can be choosy on how far you're willing to drive, how much money or your threshold that you're willing to make, and at least you want $1 per mile or how much you're getting paid for the miles driven of $1.75 to $2. So really you want your earnings to be twice your mileage. So long story short, give yourself options, help yourself, make sure to multi-app and apply to drive on all of those apps at the very same time. So I got my next order from Honeygrow. So you can't tell the thing with Grubhub, there's no mileage. So you're really guessing, you're looking at the map and determining based on knowing your marketplace, is this a good order based on the mileage or perceived mileage? Now, again, a really good tip is I looked at where the ride ends me. I don't think enough drivers really pay attention to where it ends you, because if you're in the middle of a neighborhood, it's going to be less to your advantage than if you were surrounded by restaurants. And that's exactly where I'm going to end on this trip. I'm going to be around all of those restaurants, thus continuing my streak of requests during this dinner rush. So the reason you want to end by all those restaurants is because of choices. And you can see my next order, I didn't even have to move after I arrived at the customer. I got a really solid order from Hunan Bar. And again, this is on Grubhub, so you cannot see the mileage. The other apps, DoorDash and Uber Eats, will show you that, but you can just see on the map. It looks like a fairly straightforward order. I know Squirrel Hill to Oakland is not a very far distance, so another good order that was a result of having those choices and ending in a good location. So again, another good example of why you drive that dinner rush. So if it's slow, and typically summertime is a little slow, more people are walking to restaurants, less people are driving food delivery. So if you're gonna drive one shift, it's really that dinner rush. So you see this order I got from Chicken, it was actually an add-on order. So an extra $11 on top of what I was already making. So this is really gonna help my ending earnings. So here's another tip, guys. Don't worry about parking. So the drop off of the customer was right here, and I just temporarily parked my car right here. It's a big time saver and a big time waster if you're worrying about parking. Find a quick spot to park your car and deliver your food. So we're losing a little bit of the sunlight, but that last order from Soba, another $9 order. So if you watch my other videos on driving that dinner rush, that's summertime strategy, again, you see more examples of this. These $9, $10 orders, you see these happen more frequently. That's what we want for you. If you drive the dinner rush, the big takeaway is you have more choices and you can really be more selective until you get these $9, $10 orders. Now, again, this is not an earnings guarantee. Certain marketplaces might not have as many orders, so that's less choices. But if you follow these basics, you'll give yourself the best chance to make the highest dollar per hour. So we're gonna go back to the home office. I'm gonna give you some more tips, and I wanna give you some different tips this time. Maybe some things that I've noticed on this specific shift. So stay tuned, more tips to come, and let's go over the revenue. So like I said, we are back here at the home office, and typically I go over all of the earnings and share with you some more tips. But as I was thinking about it, I'd like to actually break down that shift and tell you some things I should have done better to make me more money and some things I wish I didn't do so that you can learn from my mistakes and replicate the things that worked. So I think what I did well was the multi-apping. I mentioned it a few times in the video, so I'll be pretty brief. But when you have choices, obviously you can select the best ride for you. Now, the most important point when it comes to choices is looking at that ending location, because it could be a great order, but if it takes you 10 minutes outside of the city in the middle of a suburb area where there's no restaurants, you're wasting essentially 10 minutes to get back to that area of a lot of restaurants, or we call that a power strip. So make sure to pay attention to where you end. Another good thing that I did on this shift. So something I think I could have improved on, and maybe you will agree, think about when you're driving. So do you drive from maybe 5 to 7 and then end your day? Well, I only was available for a few hours. I definitely want to get out there on the road and get content to you guys and those tips and tricks, but I drove from 6 to 8. Now, what I could have done better is driving even later, because it is August. So think about your area. August, it's school time again, back to school, and if there's any colleges or universities near you, all those kids are coming back to school, and that's great news for us food delivery drivers because there is your demand. So Oakland, an area here in Pittsburgh that has multiple universities, all the students are coming back. So I kind of wish I drove a little later, but again, my schedule was fairly limited. That is a small critique I would have. So if you can, try and drive a little later in your shift and also focus on those universities. So this is kind of frustrating. I mentioned it in my last video. Uber Eats only gives me a few seconds to accept an order, and I didn't have any screenshot examples of this because it disappeared before I could even take a picture. But I have this glitch on my Uber Eats app where I have a few seconds to accept an order. Now that is really frustrating because that's taking money out of my pocket. I had at least one food delivery request in that last shift where I was really excited to take the order, and before I knew it, it was gone. So this is more of a glitch. This is not your fault. I've heard this from other drivers. Apparently, my twin brother Mike had the same issue and it got resolved just by time passing. It just automatically fixed itself for whatever reason. So I know it's a little frustrating, but missing opportunities, that can be frustrating. And sometimes it's not your fault, but make sure if you do have enough time, you click accept if you do intend to take the order before time runs out. So another critique I would definitely try and focus on, I say this time and time again, I feel like a lot of drivers, including myself, miss doing this, and that is examining the map and the promotions, because on DoorDash the map was very busy. There was about a $2.50 peak pay, so that's extra pay on top of the base pay. So I didn't look at Uber Eats all that much. Now Grubhub doesn't really have much promotions running typically, but I could have looked a little further into what DoorDash is paying. There was a quest on Uber Eats, but it was for rideshare, not food delivery. So just looking at the map a little more carefully can help you understand which app to lean towards in your shift. I could have definitely gone a little faster. Now you're not gonna have this issue most likely, but I was with my twin brother Mike and we were filming, so I probably could have snuck in at least one more order, bumping up my hourly wage, probably $5 an hour, because I likely would have had another $9 to $10 order. I probably could have squeezed another one in, but again, if you're managing your time, don't rush it. Just go with the flow and accept what you can. Don't be trying to squeeze in all these orders or speeding, thinking you're gonna make more money. Just manage your time responsibly. In this case, I had a little more downtime than what I was used to, but all in all, a pretty good shift. So here's something I want you to be aware of. You could have essentially paralysis by analysis. And all that means is you're looking for that perfect order. Well, I'm getting $9 or $10 orders. Maybe I'll wait and get that $15 order or that huge $20 order. And then time passes and now you're only picking up one order in an hour or maybe two. So don't be afraid to take those $9, $8.50 orders. Hopefully you're getting those, especially in that dinner rush. Remember, this is the summertime strategy. We're focusing on that dinner rush. Piece together a few of those and you will be easily, hopefully there's no guarantees, I say easily, but it is easy when you have a lot of choices from multi-apping during the dinner rush. you'll reach those good hourly goals. So just keep that in mind, and that should set you on a good path to making a good amount of money. So keeping all that in mind, let's go ahead and break down the numbers. So if you're a new driver, here's how much I made. If you're an experienced driver, welcome back. So let's go over the results and see how well I did on this shift. So on this shift, I drove a few hours, the dinner rush from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I grossed a total revenue of $47.88. Even with some of those critiques that I had on myself, I still was able to make nearly $24 an hour at $23.94. I was able to reach that number completing 5 deliveries. And tips are a big part of your earnings. Now, I could have earned more if I had 5 out of 5 tips, but on this case, I got 4 out of the 5 rides, providing a tip averaging $5.25. I drove approximately 16 miles, paying me a fairly strong $2.99 pay per mile. And based on those mileage, that gives us a tax deduction of $8.96. So next up is going to be a really cool stream with my brother, my twin brother, your driver Mike, the original channel of over 50,000 members like you. So subscribe or check out his channel if you haven't done so already. You will see more content from myself on this channel and on my brother's channel. So hopefully this gave you a good idea on what to expect, some tips, some things you could maybe do a little better when you're on the road. And make sure to drop a like if you do like this content so I know that you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more ride-along tips and tricks and more videos from this channel. Again, my name is Matt from Your Driver Team. Matt, thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next one.